30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is, how would we describe it? Kind of a cloudy, looks like it's going to rain, but I'm not sure of it. Kind of Wednesday afternoon in Nashville, Tennessee. We welcome all of you to our digs at the Ford Ice Center in Bellevue. We have a show today that will accentuate the negative. The two pro sports teams, Preds, Titans, both struggling big time at the moment. We're going to talk about both of them today on the show, as is the case always during football season. Let's get this underway with Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update, brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen. So dial her up, 615-969-4350. Terry McCormick will actually be with us during part of the 3 o'clock hour. We're going to take a look. Terry put out, and I think correctly yesterday, that this is now all about trying to figure out the keepers for the 2024 season. This team's not going to the playoffs. I think I said it about a month ago, much more likely to be 7-10 than 10-7. We're going to pick out 4 players in particular and what they need to do to be keepers a year from now. Terry, please tell Robert Brazil we said hello.
Will do.
What's going on over there?
Well, back on the practice field and getting ready to go to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. George, got a couple of stats for you here, and these are not pretty stats.
No.
This team has scored exactly 2 touchdowns on the road this year in 5 games, 5 road games, not counting the London game, which technically was the Titans' home game. They have scored 2 touchdowns. Both of those have been via the run. So the last time they had a passing touchdown away from Nissan Stadium and not in London was the season finale last year in Jacksonville when Josh Dobbs threw a touchdown of 21 yards to Chigakonkwo, and that pass gave them a short-lived 10-0 lead in that ballgame.
By the way, if you'll hit your SAP button, 2 would be uno, dos. Dos.
Yes. So those are not aesthetically pleasing numbers, George.
No, they're not going to be a lot of stats today that'll have you wanting to run over to the carnival. Terry, what else?
Well, a couple of guys out of practice. Still no Traylon Burks. No Andre Dillard, both of those in the concussion protocol. And no Chance Campbell. He suffered an undisclosed injury in pregame warm-ups and was not on the field at least during the open period that we saw. So interesting there. It's gonna be interesting, just to see who they put out there and who they put where. One of the things is left tackle. If Dillard is not a go, then that means probably Dylan Radins is going to get a look there, a full game look, as opposed to practicing at right guard like he did last week and then having to shift over there once Dillard was injured. And then one other thing, Sean Murphy-Bunting, cornerback, told us in the locker room that he had had surgery to correct a ligament problem in his thumb. He's going to be limited on the practice field this week. It's going to be interesting to see if he can give it a go.
Terry, here's some big news of the day. Either tomorrow or Friday, we may debut the new Plaster Celebrity Bowling Night shirts that everybody will wear. As you know, due to pressure from others, we have gone away from gold to red.
Going to red. Yes.
Yes.
I wonder how much it'll fetch if I put it on eBay, George.
The red shirt?
Yes.
I'd say if you could get
Maybe even one of the yellow
$1.99, I would take it. But let me say this. They're comfortable.
Yes. They are comfortable. That is for sure.
Looked good yesterday, even though Kelly didn't like it. But you know what? I mean, what can I say?
You can't please everybody.
Talk to you tomorrow. Same time, same place.
Actually, you'll talk to me in about an hour or so.
Well, you know that's correct. I forgot that one. Bad mistake on my end. See you at about 10 after 3.
All right. Sounds good.
Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady. And through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen. Dial her up 615-969-4350. We head to Murfreesboro, where the cantankerous Kelly Holcomb is standing by. What is that? Cleveland what?
National records.
That's a freebie, isn't it?
Oh, there's no question it's a freebie. I know the guy. I know guys that know guys.
No question.
George, I mean, how did you forget that? You better start getting some good fats in your diet. You better start eating some olive oils, which you're Greek, so I know you're
Right.
you're part of this, the Mediterranean diet.
Yeah.
You need to start eating some olive oils,
Okay.
some coconut oils, eating you some walnuts and some pecans. I mean, that helps with memory issues, Hoss.
So the pecan pie helps with the memory.
Nah, it's got sugar in it. That's going to hinder you. You don't want that.
So the good that the pecans would do get overridden by the sugar.
Correct.
Okay.
Sugar is bad. In case we don't know, in the year 2023, sugar is not very good for you.
Thank you, Dr. Fauci. So
please don't put me in that category. No thanks.
So Billy, hello.
Hello.
Yeah. You have an update?
I do. It's a tough day for Kelly to be representing Cleveland. I know it's not the Browns, but Deshaun Watson's going to undergo season-ending surgery to repair a fracture in his throwing shoulder. The MRI on Monday revealed that he had a displaced fracture to the glenoid in his right shoulder.
Right. I don't know a lot about the glenoids.
No. Maybe Dr. Holcomb can tell us about that.
I don't know anything about the glenoids. They're not like gonads or anything. I mean, glenoids, really?
I had never heard of that.
Kelly,
I hadn't either. I've heard of labrums. I've heard of rotator cuffs. I've had both those surgeries, but never a glenoid.
Yeah, thank you.
So time for PJ Walker for Cleveland.
Yeah,
but
well,
I want to bring this
good luck with that. We're gonna spend a segment on it later in the 2 o'clock.
Okay, so
go ahead.
I'll save it.
You want to hold on to it.
I'm going to save it. It's that good.
Yeah.
College football playoff rankings. Number 1, Georgia has replaced Ohio State, and the Buckeyes are at 2. Number 3, Michigan. Number 4, Florida State. So, I don't think y'all are surprised by that.
No.
It's my 4.
Yeah,
it's
good call,
been 4
Kelly.
for the last month.
So you've had Georgia at 1 for a while.
He's had Georgia all along.
All year, actually.
He and I are together. We don't agree on much in the world, but until Georgia loses, they've won back-to-back national titles. To the victor goes the spoils.
Yeah, I don't really know why they weren't number 1 to begin with for the last several weeks. I mean, yeah, they might not have looked good. Ohio State had 2 good wins, but I mean, they're the back-to-back national champs. I don't really know why they weren't number 1.
Now, to rag on Kelly a little bit, this is not a difficult assignment, okay? This can be done in 30 seconds or less.
Kelly,
the difficult assignment was when you called and told me, I need your top 10 NFL football teams, NFL quarterbacks. And then you said, we're going to use it that day, but then you ended up using it the next day. So I'm like, why in the world do we got to do it in the next 30 minutes?
Because schedules change. Things happen. You have to be able to adjust.
Figure it out, George. I mean, Google something. How about it?
This is a fluid business, Kelly.
Google something. I like that.
Hey, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, there, Billy, freaking
Yeah.
Dr. Phil.
What is your problem today?
I'm just saying, man, y'all too irritate me. I'm gonna put my hood up and I'm gonna go
Do
to
it.
sleep.
Do it. It'll hide that ugly head.
All right, I want to bring this up. I haven't been watching too much NBA, but in last night's in-season tournament game between the Warriors and the T-Wolves, it had some fireworks.
Had a little fight.
Yes.
Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Jaden McDaniels were all ejected for their roles in a fight less than 2 minutes into the game. Draymond Green had Rudy Gobert in a headlock.
Right. But who tweeted out there, and I don't remember which player it was, said that anytime Draymond doesn't have his boy Steph Curry.
I was going to bring that up. Rudy Gobert after the game
Gobert said it.
He said every time Steph doesn't play, Green doesn't want to play without his guy Steph, so he does everything he can to get ejected.
Right. And what Draymond ought to come back with is, so how are things in COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
He also referred to Gobert was you go back and watch his post-game presser. It's pretty good. He referred to Green's actions as clown behavior multiple times. So I don't think he's the biggest fan of Draymond Green. But this is nothing new for Draymond.
Let me take one more NBA note. I want to congratulate the LA Clippers, who are 0 for 5 since James Harden arrived.
Shocker.
What did you expect? There's one basketball. Try to distribute that amongst Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, or as
Harden.
James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. I mean, how did they think that was going to work?
I'm with you. Like, what are we thinking? Like, there's one basketball, just like when you got a bunch of receivers that want the ball. There's only one football guy. I can only throw it to one guy. I can't throw it to all three of you at the same time. Good gracious.
It comes under one word, dumb.
Have y'all seen any of this in-season tournament?
Yeah, with the goofy-looking courts.
I think it's ridiculous.
I don't get it. Basically, they've chucked out a bunch of money and put these new weird courts out there, but I don't think anybody cares.
Especially in November.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Anyways, I wanted to get to this college football piece. Northwestern is going to promote interim coach David Braun. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, and they should.
To the permanent head coaching role. They're 5-5 right now. He's done a heck of a job. Credit to him.
They're one win away, Kelly, from being bowl eligible, and I don't think anybody in August, when they got rid of Pat Fitzgerald, thought that could happen. By the way, Northwestern may be the happiest school going that Harbaugh's Spygate has erupted.
Yeah.
It's taken them totally out of the news cycle.
That's a good point.
If I were a betting man, I would have bet they would have probably won 2 games this year, and they've won 5. They're 5-5 with what's going on. That's pretty good.
The guy deserves this opportunity. Good for him.
Yeah, Braun's the first Northwestern coach to win 5 games in his first year since Walter McCormick back in 1903.
Oh, Walter.
I don't think anybody knows who
Walter's
that is.
not with us anymore, is he?
No.
Okay.
Preds last night lost to the Ducks at home 3-2.
We'll get into that shortly.
I heard it was a bad crowd last night as well. So Preds need to get it going. They got Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks coming in Saturday.
Ugh.
So good luck there.
Yeah. 1:00 game, I believe.
Yeah, I don't understand that though.
Well,
Maybe
they're
we'll
not going to consult you on start times. They're just not.
They should though, Billy. I think they should.
I get they spread. That's obviously for TV, I would guess.
Oh, I don't know. It may be arena something going in.
Probably got a concert.
I don't know.
But that's what I got.
You're done.
Yeah.
Great.
It falls under the category of 1:00 game. Who cares, Billy? Just announce it and move on.
In other words, you don't want Billy giving opinions.
No. Moderator, man. Don't give opinions. Be the moderator.
Make everybody else better around you.
Correct.
Okay. Here's what we've got coming. Mark McGee after the break to talk about a Predator team that has lost 6 of their last 7. In the big picture, what does that mean? We're about to find out, so stick around. A busy show today. Not all of it real upbeat. The two pro teams are struggling. We will talk about it next.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. Well, as most of you know, November has not been a good month for the Predators. They started out on the road with the CMA road trip, with the CMAs coming into town. They have lost 6 of their last 7, including a 3-2 defeat last night at home against Anaheim. Mark McGee joins us for his weekly visit to talk about it. Gee, what do you think this is doing as far as Barry Trotz and stuff, moves, changes? Because I can't see him being overly patient about this.
No, they got to be looking at several different things. So they've got there's several things they need to look at. And I'm sorry, I'm in a lobby, so I'm probably getting a little bit echo. But one thing that's really difficult with this team is that who do they trade? So, but Askarov, the goalie, and at Milwaukee, the Oilers. A lot of people think the Edmonton Oilers might want to take him. Jack Campbell was horrible with the Oilers that are struggling, even though they got two of the top offensive players in the country, in the league, are struggling. And they sent Campbell down to AHL, and he's struggling there too. So, so Askarov might be possible because Saros comes up as an restricted free agent in 2025. So what are you going to do with two players that could be your top goaltender? So that might solve that problem by trading him away to the Oilers. I know that Trice earlier was looking at a top six forward, but with Shin's injury, that really kind of knocked that out. And they've got Tommy Novak out as well. So the depth situation is not really there right now.
So, Guy, let me make sure I've got you right. Are you saying, because the rumors have been out there for a good while about UC Saros in Edmonton, you're saying more the backup who's in Milwaukee as opposed to UC?
Yes, Yaroslav Askarov is the one that I think that they would trade for right now, but that's a question mark there because he has never played. He's only played like one AHL game and did not do that well, and he's kind of untried still in the AHL level. So I don't know. So, but I think Edmonton's desperate right now for some help, and I think that they could give up some offensive depth they have to do that. But Saros's name was tossed around for a while, and that's probably not out of the realm of possibility. Then you go back to the same situation. You got Yaroslav as your goaltender number one, who has no experience or very little experience. So it's kind of a conundrum there to some extent. But I think that's the biggest thing you have to trade right now. That's your biggest key.
Okay, Guy, speculate for me. If you traded Saros, obviously you're looking for a haul. It's almost like trading a quarterback in the NFL. Give me what you think Saros would bring back and what you think the kid in Milwaukee would bring back.
I think they'd be somewhat similar, but I think Saros would definitely bring back, give you a top six forward for sure. Maybe a defenseman if you needed one, but I think at least a top six forward that's playing in NHL right now, and also a couple of prospects, maybe a first or second round pick or two, and but I think also Yaroslav Askarov would almost be the same situation because he is a very talented player. Everybody realizes that, and he's just waiting for his time right now. And so from that standpoint, he's playing well in Milwaukee right now, and so you might not get that top six forward, but you might get a pretty good forward out of it or two, and probably another like I said, a couple of draft picks for sure.
So two of your highest profile Preds are really struggling right now, and I want to kind of get your theories behind both of them. UC is giving up way more goals than normal. Is it the defense in front of him, or is it him?
The combination of the two. I think. A lot of people. Saros has been a savior for the team for a long time, but there are a lot of goaltending experts in the NHL who never have been truly sold on UC Saros from a goaltending standpoint. So maybe we're seeing a chink in that armor that some of these other guys who are more skilled at looking at goaltenders than I am, that they talked about. So I don't know if that's the situation or not, but they're not. He can't save them anymore. That's for sure. He sure hasn't lately. He's not. He can't be there. He's not been their savior by any means of late. But defensively, they've got. It's a pretty young defense right now from him. You got Ryan McDonough out now too, which doesn't help any. And they've got a Stastny coming up from the HL to be part of the defense now. So it's a pretty young group that's back there. It's always been a strength for the Predators, but it's not quite as strong as this year's it has been in the past, I don't think.
The second one that a person that would be a season ticket holder type who sees them every night at home, the observation to me is that Roman Josi today isn't anything like the Roman Josi superstar that I've seen in the past. What do you think's going on there?
I don't really. I just see it's just not playing up to par. I can't really point to one thing. I haven't really heard anybody talk about that. Yossi himself has said that he hasn't played a solid game yet, and the team hasn't played a solid game yet for 60 minutes. They really don't have a reason for that. They have all kinds of reasons, but Yossi has struggled. You're right, he has struggled. I really can't put a finger on it. I really have not heard a lot of criticism about him yet. I mean, we all talk about it after games and stuff, but I can't really point to any one thing from that standpoint right now.
Kelly, say hello to Gee.
So, Gee, how you doing, brother?
Hey, Kelly, what's going on?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Not bad.
So with Tommy Novak getting hurt, who are the guys that can step into that spot and kind of maybe make a name for themselves? Do you know?
Well, I want them to make a name for themselves because they already have. Cody Glass, who's out. Now they lose Novak, and Cody Glass gets off injured reserve and is back. And right now, it looks like he'll be taking over Novak's line, which was Kiefer Sherwood and Luke Evangelista. And Glass is going to be centering that line, and they'll be the second line right now. They're moving up a little bit with that angle. So that's how they're trying to replace Novak right now. It's hard to replace Novak. He's the second leading scorer. He's one of the power play keys. It's going to be hard to fill his void, but Glass, this is a chance for Glass to show what he can do again. He missed about 8 games, I think, with his injury, so he needs to show what he can do to come back from that standpoint. And that first line, Forsberg, Raleigh, and Nyquist, they have a lot of chemistry. They're going to have more chemistry and be more effective than they have been of late. And so it's going to be interesting what happens with all that.
Well, they missed the playoffs last year, obviously. So, what in your opinion, what are their weaknesses right now? What's going on? Why are they 5-10? I mean, I know that was the first time in a while that they missed a playoff. So obviously they've got some ground to make up, and that's why they hired Barry Trotz, obviously. But they're 5-10 right now. What do you think? What do you think's going on?
Well, if history repeats itself, they're not going to make the playoffs this year, because the last time they were in this situation after 15 games, they were 5-8-2 in 2001, 2002. 69 points for the season. They missed the playoffs. 2002, 2003, they were 2-7-2-4 after the first 15 games. They had 74 points that year and missed the playoffs. So right now it looks like at 5-10, the playoffs are pretty much they're not really good. It's going to be tough for them to make the playoffs from that standpoint. But what's wrong with them? Let's look at some things. Lack of aggression, and also slash they're passive. A lot of times they seem confused often on the ice as to what they're supposed to be doing. There's the mental gaps, especially with the young players, are showing up. And one that really gets me is that, lots of times they don't feel like they don't play like a team that needs to make up points. They don't play like a team that's losing games. And needs to get better. They look like their legs aren't under them sometimes. I don't know what that's all about, but they don't seem to really come out with a lot of energy at times, and that's no excuse for that. And I don't know if that's Andrew Burnett's fault or not, but something's happening there. Burnett says we've got a lot of self-inflicted problems. Well, yeah, they do, and especially the power play the other night, they had 3 chances in the first period against Anaheim, nothing. Forsberg probably gets one later on in the game, but his second of the year. And I'm sorry, Yossi. Was it Yossi or Forsberg? I forget now who got that power play go. Forsberg did that. So got a second of the season. So, but you got lots of things wrong with them, and they keep on saying we got to fix them. And then like Yossi was saying, we haven't played a full 60 minutes of good hockey yet. Well, you got to do that to win. And they're not doing that yet. So I don't know was it a mental thing or what right now, but you got new coach, new philosophy, new approach, and that's just taking a lot of young players, and that's not a good combination. But yet they get beat by the Arizona Coyotes, who are a definite rebuild, and you get beat by the Anaheim Ducks 3-2, and they're in a rebuild as well. So you got two teams that in Anaheim's hot right now, and the Coyotes have been playing great hockey. So right now you got a Predators team that's last in the division, in the Central Division, and they're tied right now with 10 points with the Chicago Blackhawks that they play Saturday. So there's a chance to move out of the cellar, but it's a long way to go to the top 4 spots in that division.
Yeah, so Barry Trotz obviously took over the job, but he looks like he's making some moves right now. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they got a guy from New Jersey, the Doyle guy, and then they got another guy, the McLeod guy from the Rangers. I mean, are these guys just kind of like stopgap guys, or are they going to be, in the foreseeable future for these guys?
Well, so that's lots of times when players change teams, their careers take a boost. It's a wait and see on those guys right now. I mean, no. He hasn't grabbed anybody yet so far this year that you say is going to be a game changer. And they need a top 6 forward. That's the big thing. Of course, most teams need a top 6 forward, but they definitely need one. And Trotz knows that. He's been trying to work out a deal and just hasn't been able to do it because of injuries to his players and various other things, but mostly because of injuries to players that he has that maybe he might want to move or whatever. He can't do that right now. His hands are kind of tied, but he's made no secret that he wants to stop 6 forward.
Well, this probably my last thing, but this is kind of an unfair question for you. But there's only 15 games into the season. 15, there's only 15 into the season. So, do you think they can turn this thing around? I mean, is he making the right moves? And obviously, we don't know that. We'll have to see. But you think they can get this thing turned around to get some more folks in the stands? Billy said there wasn't many folks last night in the stands, and that's not good for a team.
No, I wasn't there last night either. So I guess I'm one of those many folks that wasn't there last night. But the thing about it is that he knows there needs to be changes. He knows that, and I think he's going to make changes. But this team, they try not to say it. I know David Poole hated to say it, but this team was rebuilding. I mean, it's a rebuilding team right now, and making the playoffs, yeah, they could make it. There are a lot of teams right now that are struggling in the Central Division. Minnesota Wild, nobody knows what's going on with them. The Colorado Avalanche has gotten back on track again, but they were having some struggles, so you just never know. Edmonton Oilers, I mean, nobody knows what's happening with them right now. I mean, they've got, like I said, 2 of the top players in the league. They've had goaltender problems, but they're struggling bad, and so they've already fired their coach. And so, there are a lot of teams right now that have a lot of potential coming in this season who haven't shown it yet. And there's some teams like the Coyotes who are surprising people right now, and the Ducks to a large extent. The Ducks set a record against the Predators, an all-time record in the NHL. They're the first team ever to win 6 third-period comeback games. They've come back 6 times in the third period and won games. That's the type of spirit the Predators need to have.
So, Guy, the 4 days off right now.
Yes.
You don't get that very often. 3 days off, and then they play on Saturday. You don't get that very often in the league. What do you think goes on during these 3 days?
I think there's a lot of hard workouts that are going to go on. I think they're going to have to really look at themselves. I think if I'm Andrew Burnett, I'm working them really, really hard the next couple of days. I mean, Blackhawks coming in. The Blackhawks aren't that good. They do have Connor Bedard. There'll be a chance for everybody to see him play as a rookie his first year. After we all saw him get drafted to Nashville earlier this year, so there'll be a chance for people to see him play. But he is not really now. Everybody thought he'd be a slam dunk for Rookie of the Year. Not so much right now. He's playing okay, but he's not playing. He's 18 years old. You got to look at that. But he's like, of all the rookies right now, he's probably the top 3 or 4. He's not really setting the world on fire from that standpoint. But he has a great talent. So it'll be fun to watch him play on Saturday. But there's a chance to move out of the cellar. They're going to have to chip this away a little bit at a time. They've got to win at home. They've got to win at home. They're not winning at home right now, and that's a real problem. They've got to win games at home.
No, you're absolutely right. Hey, thank you for doing this. Appreciate it as always. And get your bowling game ready.
I'm working on that tomorrow. Now you say that. I'm planning to go out to a bowling alley. But I don't want Hillary Schmitto tossing out my score again after last year. I'm gonna try to surprise him.
He's been very public about it.
Oh, yes, he has. And he loves talking about it. He's talked to me about it. And I thought, you should have something. You should have other things to do.
I'll tell him
You
that.
should have other things on your mind. Yeah, you should have other things on his mind.
I'll tell him that next week. Gee, as always,
All right.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, the doctor, right?
That away. Mark McGee joining us. He will be one of our celebrity bowlers a week from Monday, November the 27th, which leads me to the easy promo. If you're out there watching this show live, or if you see it later, I could really use you to step up. Whether you just say, I want to play on my own and put me on a team, or whether you've got your own foursome. The bottom line is, I'm not doing this for my health. I'm doing this to try to help two charities that do incredible things for families and kids around Christmas. And those charities are the Last Minute Toy Store and the Martha O'Brien Center. If you would like to get involved, a week from Monday, November 27th, Strike and Spare on Lebanon Pike is where we will have the event. Simply email me, plastergeorge@gmail.com. Again, plastergeorge@gmail.com. We've still got openings. Would love to have you join us. After the break, Cleveland would love to have Deshaun Watson. This just in, it ain't going to happen. We'll talk about it next.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458, or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Well, the news came out very early this morning in Cleveland, and it wasn't good news. Deshaun Watson, pictured in your screen, out for the year. Trouble in his shoulder. He felt the issue in the victory. Let me take that back. In Baltimore Sunday against the Ravens, had an MRI done on Monday, and the news was anything but good. Billy, you had some stats you wanted to throw out there about Deshaun Watson and his $230 million contract, which makes, it makes the settlement at Texas A&M for Jimbo Fisher look like peanuts.
Yeah, I think this could go down as the worst trade in NFL history for Cleveland. Looking at it right now,
except it was a free agent signing.
They didn't give up 3 first-round picks and a third rounder to get.
You're right. That's right. It was a trade, wasn't it?
This was a trade.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's not a good trade.
Well, they gave up 3 first-round picks and a third-round pick for the privilege of making Deshaun Watson the highest-paid player in NFL history.
Yes.
That sounds like a fake headline from The Onion or something. Immediately after he was accused of sexual assault by 20+ women. I mean, who in the room said, yeah, we should make this guy, Deshaun Watson? I know he was good in Houston. He was good in college, but he's nowhere near the highest paid player in NFL history.
Okay, so let's start there, because obviously it's not going to matter the rest of the year, and it's either P.J. Walker or Dorian Thompson-Robinson, for short DTR, neither of whom have distinguished themselves yet on the pro level. So, Kelly, let's just sort of talk through Deshaun Watson right now, because at the moment, a huge disappointment for the money that got paid out. Mm-hmm. Why do you think it's so different than what we saw from him near the end in Houston, where he was arguably one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the league?
I can't answer that, George. I really can't. That's a tough question. I'm not. I said it earlier a couple of months ago when that first game that they played against the Steelers. Man, he looked really bad. He looked like he was uninterested. He looked. He didn't have that first step quickness that he had when he was in college, where he could elude people. Just didn't look good. Plus, he hadn't played for a year or so. So there's a lot that goes into that. I don't know how they did that, but I was gonna tell Billy when he was talking about all they gave up for him. That's one thing about professional sports that I'm not a huge fan of, is they don't really care. If you can play and you can help them win games, they'll do whatever it takes to get you on the team. I mean, you can look back at some of the players and down here at the Titans, and some of them had some questionable character, and I know that everybody knows who I'm talking about. But if you can play and you can run fast and you can throw the ball and you complete balls, and they think you give them an opportunity to maybe win a division and get into the playoffs and maybe have a run at the Super Bowl, they don't care what your past is. They really don't. They're looking at it as it's a money-driven league. It's a money-driven business. And if you can make them more money and if you can get them out there more, they're going to sign you. It doesn't matter, George. And I'm not sure that he can ever get back to where he was. We all can't get back to where, age catches up to everybody, but just that Pittsburgh game, but he's played some good games since. And the other day he came back in that, they came back in that in the Baltimore game with him leading this football team, whichever I thought that they were done too. And he was able to lead those guys back to a huge win. So they're not getting paid back what they paid him with what he's done on the field, but when it comes down to it, nobody cares what he's done if he can help them win games.
So let me try this one. They're in a division where right now everybody in that division is pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Can they get in the playoffs without Deshaun Watson?
Well, I think they just announced that DTR is starting. Am I correct about that, Billy?
You are correct about that,
And
I have no idea why.
Well, I'll be honest. I think he's got more potential than P.J. Walker.
I do too, and I think that they were that's what they're thinking. If Deshaun Watson was out for a week or two, they'd probably start this other guy because they've already done that and they've won some games with him. But since Deshaun Watson's gone for the year, let's find out what we got with DTR. Let's find out with Dorian Thompson-Robinson what we got with him. We think we got. So I watched him play in the preseason. It's funny how guys look totally different in college, and they're really good, and then they come to the National Football League, and he's got to grow into that. He's got to grow into his throwing motion. He's not going to be able to run around as much as although some guys try, not going to be able to run around as much as he did in college. But I think they're starting him because they want to see. It's kind of what the Titans did with Will Levis. We got to see what we got with this guy. So if there's a spark there, if he can lead our team, energize our team, get our guys some juice, maybe we can have something long term with him. If Deshaun Watson never comes back to the form that we think they think that he could be. So I don't know. I'm not sure that they can make the playoffs, George. I will say this: their defense is legit. They're really good. I mean, good gracious, Garrett Miles. All those guys they got on the defensive side of the ball, they got the
Miles
guy,
Garrett, for that matter.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Miles Garrett. Excuse me, Miles Garrett. Good gracious, Miles Garrett, and then the Smith guy they got from Green Bay. They can rush the passer, man, and when you can rush the passer and when you can beat people on the ground, they're very good defensively. They can make it defensively, but I don't know. We'll have to see DTR play. He's got some weapons. He's got Amari Cooper, the Njoku guy. I mean, that guy he's a stud, man. I would have loved to have been able to throw the ball to him because when he gets the ball, he's a yak guy. He's big, long strides. He makes people miss. So they've got some guys now. Obviously, with their running back situation, they're down to their third guy. But is Kareem Hunt back? I think he's. I mean, I don't. Was he hurt?
I want to say he played.
I think he's back. So they've got two guys, the Ford guy and Kareem Hunt. So they do have the pieces. It's just how the DTR kid plays, George.
So I'm going to throw out a thought here that you may or may not agree with, but here goes. When he gets back to being healthy, and I would assume that would be in the next week or two, Ryan Tannehill would have been a perfect short bridge for the Cleveland Browns.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't understand why the NFL trade deadline this year was on Halloween, which means it was 2 months and a week before the end of the regular season. Why not push that thing back deeper into November so that a Ryan Tannehill, who at this point probably has seen his better days with the Titans, you could make an argument that if you could in 2 weeks put him in Cleveland's offense, they could still be a division contender.
Yeah, yes. I guarantee you.
No?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I guarantee you that if the trade deadline hadn't come and gone, I guarantee you they would be making a call to the Tennessee Titans. Absolutely, because he could be the stopgap guy. He's an experienced guy. He's been in big games. And with what they've got, he would probably fit in nicely there. Really would.
Well, I think PJ Walker, if I'm PJ Walker, I'm not happy right now because he's gotten 2 wins. They beat the Colts, and he beat the Niners.
He beat the Niners. He did.
I mean, PJ Walker has gone in and played well. And so if I'm Walker, and they're in the hunt. I mean, if the playoffs started today, they got that 6th seed. And if I'm Walker, I'm sitting there saying, what more do you want me to do? And I don't think they're in a spot where they need to. I'm sure they just want to go. I don't know if they're testing the waters with DTR or what they're doing, what their plan is. And maybe they truly believe DTR is better, but why, if they thought he was better, why wouldn't they have played him, earlier? I don't really understand. PJ Walker, I think, has done enough, and he hasn't lit the world on fire, but I don't really understand it because they're still in the playoff race.
It's kind of like kid gloves, Billy. Like when you've got a young guy like that, if you don't have to expose him to that and you can teach him and bring him along slowly, then that's what most teams want to do. They don't want to throw him out there and thrust him out there and if things go wrong, then he loses his confidence. They don't want that. But obviously, he's their guy. They drafted him. They want to see he's a young guy. They want to see what he can do. And the guy's got a lot of ability now. He's got a lot of ability, but that's kind of the politics of the league. Like the PJ Walker kid's got to understand. I understand that. I get it. I mean, because I've been in that situation. They don't want to throw him in there unless he's ready. And now, I mean, the starter's out. He's out for good. So why not go with the best guy that we think gives us an opportunity to win? Plus, you can find out about him too because he's got a good defense. I mean, Terry Bradshaw. I remember Tom Moore talking about Terry Bradshaw, how he used to turn the ball over bad, but he always knew that he had the Mel Blunts, all those guys on the defensive side of the ball that could give him the ball back. And that's kind of what Cleveland's got. They've got a really good defense, and they're not going to get blown out of games. It's kind of like what's going on with the New York Jets. So why not stick him in there if you think he gives you the better opportunity to win? He's more athletic. Let's try it.
So you say politics of the league. What do you mean by politics of the league? I mean,
the politics of the league. Hey, man, that goes on all the time, Billy. Like, hey, we gave this guy money. Like PJ Walker, they obviously signed him. We get that, but they didn't draft him. He was an XFL guy. I mean, that's just like okay, so I had to fight through the politics when me and Tim were battling because Tim was getting paid millions and millions of dollars, and I was a low-rung guy. So for them to make that decision to go with me, I fought through the politics of that because normally there's a lot of guys that don't do that. They're going to go with the money. I'm paying this dude $10 million a year. He's not sitting.
Yeah.
And I had to fight through that, and I beat that out. So that's kind of what I'm talking about with politics. I mean, it goes on every day. Towards the end of the season, some of these guys have got incentives in their contracts. Well, sometimes these people that are doing the numbers in the front office know that if this guy gets to this, he's getting an incentive. And if we're not making the playoffs, I'm going to not play him as much because I don't want to have to pay that. That goes on every day, all day.
And then you moved on to this show. I mean, it's the great American success story.
Oh, yeah. Well,
huge pay cut. It's a huge pay cut.
Yes, it is.
DTR, he did look good in the preseason. I'll say that. And after seeing him in the preseason, the Browns probably went, okay, we got Dobbs. We'll trade Dobbs. DTR is better than him. All of a sudden,
they wish they had Dobbs.
Well, they made that move because they thought DTR was going to be a better option, I guess, as a third or second stringer than Dobbs. But Cleveland, I mean, this is put up or shut up time, I guess, for them and the quarterback.
I'm with you too, George, about the trade deadline because as a player, you're always seeing all this stuff and guys coming in every week. You don't even think it. Like the other day when I said it, and I forgot about the trade. Like you don't even think about the trade, and like I don't know why it's that early either. Like this could be a perfect opportunity for Ryan Tannehill to get a new job somewhere else.
Yes.
Like I don't understand why they don't wait till the end of the season. Like you can trade all the way up to the end of the season. Then once playoffs start, hey, you can't do that. You can't start moving your roster around and doing all that. I get that, but like I don't understand why they don't move it back.
Okay, after the break, we'll have stat of the day, which if it's anything like it has been in the last week, we're not going to get it. God.
True.
And I don't think it's our fault. The questions have been insane. Then some college football questions, which will be a bridge, which is a nice word for stall. Then we will stall. Terry McCormick will rejoin us at 10 minutes after 3 o'clock, and we'll get into big picture some of what he was talking about yesterday around Nashville's pro football team. Stay tuned. We are coming back.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. On Monday, November the 27th, I'll be playing host to the third annual Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night here at the Strike and Spare on Lebanon Pike. Here's where I need your help. We have 64 foursomes that will play with 64 sports celebrities. We've done a good job in getting the foursomes, and now I need some of you as single players to sign up and get involved. The cost is $200. The proceeds will benefit the Last Minute Toy Store and the Martha O'Brien Center. And what I promise you that night is great bowling, maybe not, great food, a ton of fun, and in fact, I'll make this claim: more fun than any charity sports event you have ever been involved in. To get involved, simply email me, plastergeorge@gmail.com. Let me know whether you want to be in the 6 to 8 p.m. shift or the 8 to 10, and get ready for a night of bowling and fun you'll never forget.
All right, I'm here with my buddy Chip Ward from Lincoln Home Loans. And Chip, it's football season, and it's also, it feels like it's moving season every time of the year, especially here in Nashville. Tell us about your business, Chip, and kind of introduce people to who you are and what you do here in the Nashville area.
Well, you're exactly right, Billy. It is definitely moving season, as it is most times, especially right here after Labor Day. Kids are back in school, and people are starting to think they want to get settled in before the holidays. And so what we are doing is right now we are getting a lot of people pre-approved for home loans. Inventory has ticked up a little bit. You know, it has been down, but it's rebounding a little bit. And right now is a good time to buy.
Chip, real quick before I let you go, tell people how they can reach you. And if someone is interested in your business, how would they reach out to you?
Well, sure. At Lincoln Home Loans, you can reach me at 615-500-7579. My URL for my application page is chipward.net, and my email address is simply chip@chipward.net. And so I'd love to hear from anybody. I can answer any questions about the whole home buying and financing process.
Top of the hour on a Wednesday. We're Terry McCormick right after stat of the day.
There'll be a
after.
slight delay.
Slight delay.
More like about 310.
Okay,
if you're
310
watching live.
for Terry McCormick. But first stat of the day brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards. You can find them out in Shelbyville. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday from noon to 5, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call at 931-492-4304. All right, let's see what Matthew's got cooked up for today. Skip Schumacher won Manager of the Year after his first full season as a manager. Who was the last MLB manager to win Manager of the Year during their first full season?
Oh, man.
Good luck, George. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of that.
Does this one go back a ways?
No. Pretty
No.
recent, within the last 5 years.
David Ross.
Nope.
Cubs. Show me who it is then.
Rocco Baldelli.
Oh, God.
With Minnesota in 2019.
Wow.
Ouch.
I've heard of that name, and I remember.
I know
remember him
Rocco
doing
Baldelli well. I just didn't think about that one.
hard-hitting questions only for Matthew.
Okay.
Only for Matthew.
How do we feel
Ridiculous.
about Matthew's questions?
It's awful.
Wow.
I don't even like Matthew, and I don't even know what he looks like.
He's here, and he's sort of laughing. You want to give him a little camera time there?
Matthew,
you could have
get
shifted the camera. So that's Matthew, who's been doing
Matthew,
the
I mean,
questions.
you're killing us with these flipping questions, Hoss. Like, good gracious. I mean, throw a little softball up every once in a while. That's okay, too.
Daddy needs to hit one out of the park every once in a while.
We need a single or a double or something.
Yeah.
I mean, good gracious, not striking out every time.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, some college football questions. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Who gets the Texas A&M job?
Oh gosh, man, I have no clue, George. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh,
I think
I'm
that
going to come with a couple.
I
here in a
think
minute.
I think Lane Kiffin would probably. I don't know. I don't know if he would jump at it, but I think he would be. I think that after we talked about it yesterday, I think that he's reached his ceiling at Ole Miss. I really do. I think he would be a good candidate for that job because they've got the money. You see what he's done at Ole Miss. He went down to Florida Atlantic. They were bad, abysmal, and he won 2 conference championships, I think, in the 3 years he was there, 2 out of 3. So I think he's a really good football coach. I think he tells it like it is. I think he's very innovative offensively. I think he would be a good candidate for that job. I think he's just reached where he can go with Ole Miss.
Billy.
I think my gut tells me Lane Kiffin stays at Ole Miss. I think I've heard from some people that he likes it there. He's got his family there. His daughter goes there. I think he likes being at Ole Miss. And I think, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if he also took that job. But I like Lance Leipold to leave Kansas and for Texas A&M to drop a bag on him. And if that is offered to him, he's leaving Kansas because I got news
That's a
for
good
you.
candidate.
It's Kansas. They've never been good at football. I think Kansas fans, part of them would probably not be surprised if he left for that job.
And wouldn't be all that bothered.
No, he's a heck of a coach. I mean, look, he's been at Kansas. It's not like he's been at somewhere in the SEC or in the Big Ten that's had a lot of success before. I mean, he did this at Kansas, built that program in 3 or 4 years. So I think Leipold. I don't know though. A&M's a wild card department. I mean, you just never know because of the donors and everybody making. I mean, Bjork is not making that decision. I can tell you that right now. So. Who knows?
So, Kelly, I'm going to give you that I think it's one of these 3. Okay. Lane Kiffin is one of them because I think what he could sell them on is, look, Jimbo had a lot more right than y'all are giving him credit for, but he never had the quarterback for any length of time, Connor Wegman is what I'm thinking of, that could guarantee them success. They're a quarterback away. And Lane Kiffin, if this gets serious, can look that board, those bunch of J.R. Ewings in the eye and say, oh, I'll get you your quarterback. And I've got the track record to prove I can. The wild card to me, the more I've thought about it, is Lincoln Riley. To me, he doesn't fit USC. He's not a lot of flash and dash the way Pete Carroll was. His defense sucks. People are not real happy with the way this is all played out there. This would be a good landing spot to get him back to his real natural, area of recruiting success. Think about it. He was at Oklahoma. Now he'd be moving to College Station. There's a lot of the same recruits.
What happens to that contract at USC if he?
Hell if I know.
Because I think
I'm not a lawyer.
I think it's a 10-year deal worth about $110 million.
Yeah.
So that would get interesting.
In the coaching business, they just take the contracts and go.
Like give him some of that Hollywood elite money, just like the J.R. Ewings down in Texas. They could have some of the Hollywood elites. We want him gone.
The third one is Lance Leopold at Kansas. This guy, what he's done there is amazing. And whether it's there or not, it's going to be somewhere because he has no need to look any farther than his own conference to see Matt Campbell at Iowa State. Matt Campbell 2 years ago was a hot commodity. He made the decision to stay at Iowa State, and now you never hear his name come up.
Well, and A&M's pitch could be come play in the SEC, right? You're in the Big 12 right now. Not a bad conference, but you can compete in the SEC. You get better players. And for Kansas, he's got Kansas in a good spot. Kansas could also say, I don't think they'd be all – they wouldn't be happy, of course, but I think they could bring in a coach to kind of keep that going at Kansas.
Yeah,
now, that'd be tough. But
I don't know about that.
But they've got facilities coming, so I think he maybe put it in a good spot to kind of lob it up for the next guy.
Okay.
Do you guys think Dan Mulling? I mean, I don't, but like,
I was going to bring him up.
Dan Mulling would be
at A&M.
Yeah, you think they've reached out to him?
No,
yeah, I'm like that too.
No, I do think
Mississippi State.
Dan Mullen is a possibility at Mississippi State, but here's the part I don't know. Okay, new AD at State. Have no idea what his relationship is with Mullen. There are people at State who loved him. There are also people who were not wild about him. But the fact of the matter is he did a hell of a lot better at Mississippi State than anybody else has done in a while. So he's at least got to be a name you throw up on the wall and find out, does that name stick? And only the boosters can probably really answer that question. So my guess is a trial balloon is being floated right now in Starkville. Okay.
Absolutely.
Second question. Who plays for the national title? Give me the two teams.
Oh, gosh. Oh. I'm going to say the Georgia Bulldogs. And I'm going to say, I hate to say this, but I'm going to say the Michigan Wolverines.
I was going to say that, but I thought about Georgia, and I don't know. They're the number one team in the country right now, but three-peating and getting there again is going to be tough. I think a team like Florida State might be able to upset them. I'm going to go off the wall here. Florida State and Michigan.
I'm going to go even more off the wall. Oregon and Michigan.
I like that. I don't hate that.
Wow. Okay.
Oregon's going to beat Washington, who may be in a funk for having lost to Oregon State.
I agree with. I'm starting to really heat up on that one, George. I think you may be right. This may be a situation where they don't get out of Corvallis without losing to the Beavers.
It took everything they had a week ago to get by Utah, and now we're asking them to go on the road and play a really underrated Oregon State.
Well, Bo Nix is the heavy favorite for the Heisman Trophy winner right now.
Good for him.
So they've got the quarterback.
Terry McCormick's in the on-deck circle. 4 names we're going to throw out there that better put up or shut up if they're going to remain Tennessee Titans. You stick around. This will be interesting.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
The George Plaster Show is Nashville's best sports talk, 2 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. There's a podcast version available on Spotify and Apple Podcast.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs.
Okay, yesterday when we did Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update, he put some really interesting stuff out there that the season is now to the point where it's more important to judge individuals and decide whether they are keepers or ship them at the end of the season. This team's not going to the playoffs. They were never going to the playoffs. Even I could figure out early it was a 7-10, not a 10-7. Terry rejoins us. Terry, I want to throw 4 names at you, and let's talk about them because these are 4 you have given me that you think are in this put up or shut up category.
Sure. I mean, we're not talking about guys who are on expiring contracts. We're not talking about Derrick Henry or Ryan Tannehill or Tierre Tart, Christian Fulton, anybody like that. These are guys who are still under contract. So I gave you 4 names, George, and we'll go over those and kind of get some dialogue going.
Okay. The first one is the highest profile of the names. Traylon Burks, young guy who has had a lot of pressure on him. When he came out of Arkansas, it was he'll be the replacement to A.J. Brown. Well, it hadn't worked out that way. Whether it's his fault or not his fault, he is, number one, injury prone. Number two, Terry, and you may disagree with this, when he does get hurt, he seems to be a slow recovery. How in the world do the Titans trust him for the long haul?
Well, I don't know that they can. And I think that just because of his injury history, which includes now 2 serious concussions, you remember the one last year where he was knocked out making a catch in the end zone against the Philadelphia Eagles. And then you combine that with the one he suffered when his head hit the turf up in Pittsburgh. And it's really a scary situation in terms of Traylon Burks and what he's going to be able to give you going forward, just because, concussions are such serious things and they're such hard to predict type of things in terms of recovery. I really believe that they either in the draft or in free agency, they're going to have to go yet again and try to address the wide receiver position and really kind of treat Traylon Burks, in my opinion, that anything you get from him going forward is a bonus until he shows that he can give you a full season.
Kelly, when he has been healthy, he's been weighed down by this whole, he's what's going to replace A.J. Brown.
Yeah, no.
Frankly, I haven't been all that overwhelmed when he has been healthy.
Yeah, no, he's not that guy. And they can say all that they want to because they're trying to, make everybody look down on getting rid of A.J. Brown. And Terry's talked about that. A.J. Brown is one of those guys that you should have given him the keys to the city, the keys to the cars, everything that he wanted, you should have given it to him. And that's kind of the expectations that a player like Traylon Burke probably does not want. He just has not been they always said you can't make the club in the tub, George. Obviously, he's a drafted kid that they're going to keep, that they were expecting big things from him, but it just hadn't panned out. I've seen those guys in my career that everybody thought that they were this and they were that, but when it comes to pro ball, they just didn't make it. And I hope that doesn't happen for him. I wish everybody well, but right now it's just he's too injured. He's not reliable, and that's what coaches want. When you come to the National Football League, they want a reliable guy that's going to be there every week and is going to be on the field, and that you can trust him. Right now, I just don't see that.
Okay, player number 2, to me, has become the mystery of the Titans. There was a time where I was really high on Chig Okonkwo, but when I watch him now, I'm like, what's happened? Too many drops.
Huge drop in this game.
Yeah. What's happening there?
Who knows? I don't know if it's a loss of confidence or what, but, he dropped a touchdown pass. Now, granted, Will Levis is going to throw the fastball whenever he gets the opportunity. And that play, I think it may have been on 1st and goal, where the ball hit off his hands and bounced up in the air. They were lucky it wasn't intercepted. But that's a play that Chig Okonkwo has got to come up with. I mean, the Titans have long been a team that has relied on good receiving tight ends. I mean, that goes back to Frank Wycheck. It continues through guys like Aaron Kinney and on through to Delaney Walker and different guys like that. Jonnu Smith. And Chig Okonkwo was supposed to be the next guy in that progression, but he's taken a step back. I'm not so sure that maybe Josh Wiley doesn't take that role if Chig Okonkwo doesn't figure things out and gets back on track. Now, he's a talented guy. He was really one of the few bright spots they had during that 7-game tailspin last year. And I thought that he was really going to step up and give them at least Jonnu Smith type of productivity, but it just has not happened this year for whatever reason.
Kelly, is this a deal where a Mike Vrabel has to call him in and say, let's just put our cards on the table? I don't know what the hell's going on with you, but it's not good enough, and it's not what I used to see. You want to tell me what's going on here?
Well, and sometimes coaches have to do that, and sometimes guys, they rise to the occasion, but sometimes guys melt away too. So he's dropping too many footballs. I think his confidence is down, and when you lose your confidence, like confidence is a very thin line, George. I remember being there. I remember having my confidence way up here and then way down here. You always want to stay in the middle, but once you lose it, you've got to just keep working and put your head down, go in the film room. You need to stay after practice and catch balls, because that's really when it boils down to it. When you're dropping balls as a tight end, you drop some big balls. When you do that, I mean, that's just you just can't keep doing that, and that's going to lose your confidence. Marcus, we've had Marcus on the show before, but Marcus got down in the doldrums one time because he was dropping some footballs, and it wears on your confidence. And he's a young guy from Maryland, and they're expecting him to do all this. But I'm like Terry, if he does not progress, then the Wiley kid's going to step in, because I think he can do it, and he's going to get his job taken. So, confidence is a very thin line, and if you lose it, man, it's hard to get it back sometimes.
Well, and Kelly, as you know, playing in the NFL, Terry, covering the Titans, so many good tight ends, you got to catch them when you get the chances. I mean, you're not a receiver, right? I mean, so you get blamed for those drops when you have the chance.
Yeah, I mean, I still think this kid has the talent to bounce back and be a guy that can help this team going forward, because young quarterbacks need a tight end as a safety blanket, because even though Levis likes to throw the ball downfield, I guarantee you if he's got a tight end that he trusts, he's going to hit them on those little seam routes and move the chains at times using those guys. But when a guy continues to drop passes, then you start to lose faith in him, just the same way he's lost faith in himself.
Okay, the third one, I think all of us had about buried until Will Levis became the quarterback. Kyle Phillips basically lost the punt return job because too many fumbles, too many problems. At wide receiver, I had wondered for a while, is he just simply on this roster because their wide receiver core just really isn't any good? But then all of a sudden under Levis, Terry, it does appear that there's, that he's off life support.
Yeah, the last couple of games, he's kind of turned it on. He's come alive. I mean, he's doing the things that I think a lot of people expected after that very first game against the Giants last year. And then, of course, he lost most of his rookie season to an injury too. And like Treylon Burks, he's had a hard time staying on the field and being able to consistently contribute and just be available. But during the time that he missed a little bit of time this year as he was recovering, he was taking part in those sessions that they were doing to get Will Levis ready that were happening on Mondays and Tuesdays. So they developed a little bit of a chemistry there, a little bit of a relationship in terms of, quarterback knowing where receiver's going to be and how he runs routes, and the receiver knowing, how the quarterback likes to deliver the football. So some of that has probably helped to resuscitate him, George. And I think that of these four right now, he's probably the one that's most on the uptick in terms of contributing for the rest of this year.
Kelly, is that a deal where Levis may have gone to him when he got named the starter and said, you know what, I see something in you. Keep working hard. I'm going to try and get you the football.
Well, it's funny because I was on a Cleveland sports show yesterday, and Billy, my new secretary, Billy Derrick.
You're welcome, Kelly.
He set that up for me. I just wanted y'all to know that.
Did you get paid?
What's that?
Did you get paid?
I didn't get paid. I didn't get paid,
I don't guess you're getting anything.
But they were asking me. They were asking me about like some of my receivers, and Kyle Phillips kind of reminds me of my Dennis Northcutt. Like they were asking me about, would you take Dennis Northcutt or would you take this other guy? And I was like, when I stepped in the door of the Cleveland facility, for some reason, mine and Dennis Northcutt's lives aligned, and it was something telepathically going on. Like there's just guys that I knew what Dennis was doing. He could have broke a route off. It wasn't the right route, but I knew what he was doing. I could always hit Dennis in stride. He could run. That seems kind of what Will Levis has found with this Kyle Phillips kid. He's a good slot receiver. He can get open. He's got some moves. He can make things happen with his feet. You throw those little wide receiver screens out there to him, and he can make things happen. But there's just guys like that you play with, and it seems like that they've connected in a way that you just can't I can't explain to people. And I was trying to explain to those guys on the radio or on the podcast yesterday, but it's just something between us that, we just align. We just see things on the same wavelength. And that's kind of what he's got with Kyle Phillips. And I think it's a good thing to see because he was, like y'all said, Kyle Phillips was down because he was dropping all those punts and then he'd been benched on that. So it's good to see a guy that probably works hard, that can be a great slot receiver, and he's got somebody that can get him the ball that he understands.
Okay.
Well, and let me bring this up, George. Receivers and the Titans' offense these last several years haven't really meshed well, even if they're average receivers. You look at a guy like Khalif Raymond, leaves the Titans, and Josh Reynolds too leaves the Titans, and he's looking good in Detroit with a good offense, good system. I don't want to say better system, just a different system. So it's almost like, Terry, the Titans system the last several years maybe hasn't fit certain receivers, but they leave the team and now they see a role. They play with a better quarterback. They got a good OC and it looks a little bit different all of a sudden.
Well, and you can also make the claim, Terry, that a quarterback who was adequate here, Josh Dobbs, has gone on to tear it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the things too, and Kelly, feel free to chime in and agree or disagree, but one of the things with the Titans offense for so long running through Derrick Henry, they put a priority on receivers being able to block. And that's well, good, and great. But the number one job of a receiver is to catch the football. And I think that's why you're seeing guys like Josh Reynolds, who probably wasn't a great blocker and couldn't get on the field very much here, go to Detroit and align with Jared Goff, who's on that wavelength with him, like you mentioned. And all of a sudden, it's like, well, where's this guy been? How come it didn't work out in Tennessee? Well, that's why it didn't work out in Tennessee, is because, his blocking didn't get him on the field enough, but his pass catching is certainly good enough for the system that they have in Detroit.
That's a great point, Terry, because people don't understand that. Like, that's the kind of offense that Mike Vrabel wants to run. Well, you can't get these little wide receivers out at your X and Z's. You got to have big guys out there that can block. And I think you see a receiver's job, when it really fundamentally comes down to it, is to catch balls and to make touchdowns. That's really what it boils down to. I can remember our O-line coach when I was in Indianapolis used to get mad at Marvin Harrison for not blocking, and he was like, Marvin would go out there one day and he'd just put his hands on somebody and they'd make the tackle or whatever. And Howard Mudd just got upset one day, and then they both got jabbing at each other. And then Howard said, "If you don't like it, I'll send you a memo." You know what I'm saying? But like, this is Marvin Harrison, like one of the greatest receivers ever to play the game. And he's not there to block. He's there to catch balls. Let's be honest.
And even A.J. Brown, he was really good here. But, I mean, he has almost hit another level in Philly with that offense, too.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. The last one that we want to talk about involves the offensive line. Now, Dylan Radins is one of those you're like, ship them, get them out of here. Talk to me about Dylan Radins.
Well, Dylan Radins is actually going to get another shot, George, because of the injuries to people that they've had, to Andre Dillard and, Nicholas Petit-Ferrer. Radins, who lost the right tackle job last year, is going to get another shot at the left tackle job now. And, this is a guy, it's weird. Some guys, once they lose a battle for whatever they think you can be, they don't really ever get another shot. And now Radins looks like he's going to get another shot to prove that he can play in this league. If he could be a serviceable left tackle, that would help this team tremendously, not just for the rest of this year, but going forward, because maybe you wouldn't have to feel like you had to spend the first round pick on a left tackle if he's good enough to hold down the job. If not, then you've got to take a left tackle probably in the first round. So it's going to be interesting to see what Dylan Radins does with this little stretch of games that he's going to get to play left tackle. Let's see if he can hold down the position.
Kelly, when you've got a right-handed quarterback, and most of them in the league are right-handed, left tackle, the most important offensive line position?
Absolutely. That's why they get paid the second highest paid person behind the quarterback, because you got to protect him. So, I mean, it's all about money. You got to have somebody good. Now, let me ask this, Terry Skoronski. I mean, obviously he's a guard, but like he's played out there. I mean, is that a thought or no thought? I mean, if they submitted him kind of as a guard.
It's a thought on my part. I thought he should have been out there all along, but they have not really given that strong consideration. I think they view him right now as a left guard. Now, the thing is, if he's a left guard, why did you use the 11th pick in the draft on him, knowing that you needed a left tackle? So, interesting decision that they've made there. If I were on the coaching staff, I think I'd have to take a look at that kid at left tackle. He was an All-American at it at Northwestern.
Yeah, Terry, because you just do not spend that high of a draft pick on a guard. You really don't. I mean, those are for tackles. And man, I just don't know. I would, if it was me, I would try to put him out there and bring somebody else in to be the guard. But that's why I'm not getting paid. I'm getting paid by George.
Oh. Wow, boy, that ought to do wonders for your confidence.
It ain't much either.
No, Plaster's cheap, real cheap. We did a commercial years ago when I was on WTN where Willie and I were in the arena and we're pushing like ushers, pushing the broom on the floor. And I have to look into the camera, and apparently I did it way too believable. And I went, WTN's cheap, real cheap.
We need to do one. We need to do one like that.
We do. I think that'd be good. Terry, you'd be good for that commercial.
I would be. I'd be up for that.
Kelly, you would be a season ticket holder.
Wouldn't be up for that commercial, though.
Oh, sorry. Great stuff, Terry. You've raised some really interesting points. These are four who, even though this team isn't going anywhere, boy, there is a lot on the line for them. Yes, Kelly.
I've got one more question. Like, what is? And I don't know if you know this, but like, what is the feeling about Derrick Henry? Like, have you heard anything? Like, Derrick Henry's got to be frustrated, like everybody else, because his O-line cannot block for him at all, and he's better. It seems like he's wasting time, right now here. Like, have you heard anything out of Derrick Henry or anything that he's thinking, or is he upset?
No, Derrick doesn't open up that much, to say, if he's frustrated or anything like that. He's in the last year of his contract. To my way of thinking, and this is just me talking here, not Mike Vrabel or Rand Carthen. I think you try to bring Derrick Henry back because your young quarterback right now doesn't have enough weapons. Why would you take one away from him? Now, I think if Derrick comes back, I think it ought to be as a complimentary piece, as not have the offense run through him as much as it has in the past few years. But I certainly think his presence in that locker room and in that huddle and on the field could certainly benefit a developing young quarterback like Will Levis.
Terry, great stuff. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good, guys.
Terry McCormick joining us from Main Street Media to talk about what is important between now and the end of the season with the Tennessee Titans. I am on a winning streak. Plaster bet of the day. I have won one in a row.
I thought a streak was multiple games, George.
Well, when you've lost your last three, one seems like a good change.
It's not a streak, though, George. Sorry.
No, it really isn't. We'll make it two in a row tonight. So get your pocketbooks out. Daddy is about to give you a winner next.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458, or visit the website coolspringsmd.com. Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Final segment on a Wednesday. It's time for Plaster's Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give them a call, 615-242-9000, or log on to bartdurham.com. Let's check out what happened last night. George is calling it a winning streak.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about that.
The Huskies, baby. The Huskies.
Who did they play last night?
Western Michigan.
Oh, nice offensive effort. 24-0.
Putrid.
Rancid.
It was good for you, George.
It was very good for me. And Kelly, now we're going to make it 2 in a row with Miami of Ohio.
That means pull it up, Billy. I mean, come on. I mean, get the gist.
You want to produce, Kelly?
There seemed to be some pilot error there, Kelly.
Well, I was telling him earlier, I mean, you look like Wreck-It Ralph. You look like Pixel. You look like a Pixel movie. I couldn't see you. And I asked him what kind of show we're running. He said a dang good one. So I was like, I've yet to see it.
So why am I going with Miami of Ohio? 2 words. Buffalo sucks. They're just, since Leopold left Buffalo, things have gotten a little tough.
Yeah.
We're
The
going
Bulls, buddy.
Miami of Ohio tonight to make it 2 in a row. Tomorrow on the show, former Georgia quarterback David Green, good buddy, is going to join us to talk Vols and Bulldogs. Underdog picks at 3 in a row. I congratulate the panel, which won this many games.
None.
0. None.
Wow.
None.
That's a joke.
Oh, wow. Listen, the peanut gallery here.
Yes.
Billy, what have we told you? We don't need to hear you, dude. Just sit back there and produce.
As my dad used to say, children are to be seen and not heard.
Correct.
We're out of here. Oh, Lord. See you
Hey,
tomorrow.
Billy, hey, one more thing, George. Hey, Billy, since you're my secretary, have I got any more appearances?
Yeah, there's a Buffalo show that wants you on. They want you to go to Buffalo, though.
Yeah, they want you to play quarterback. But it's not for the
no.
Bills. It's the University of Buffalo.
I can do better than their quarterback, I bet.
Well, we'll see tonight. See all of you tomorrow.
See you.